It was just like, would you
Breakfast
prefer
isn't
bacon?
gonna be here though. I'm contributing to this conversation.
Who'd we lose?
Baggins left. He was protesting my joke for a solid 3 seconds.
Ah.
All right, we should be going live. Looks like we're live. Excellent. Who added Quackshot?
I did.
Good call.
I
Has
saw
to be
that on
here.
a list, but I was like, I don't think I ever played that, so I won't have it on my
I definitely did, and I forgot about it. So very good call.
Yes, that was one I had to make sure was on here. And for one specific, you don't have the remake, which is fantastic, but the original is also a classic.
What I'm trying to find. Or I guess 2. There it is. Could not remember what this thing was called. There we go. All right. Well, I am ready to get started. Are you all ready to get started?
Sure.
Ready enough, I guess.
Excellent. Commie'site, you take those filthy words out of your mouth. All right, here we go. When I was but a wee lad, I was playing Chippendale Rescue Rangers because I liked the show Chippendale Rescue Rangers. And what we're seeing here is a playthrough of a pair of people really, who are definitely not how I played this game. It is the first game I ever beat, though, and that's what really matters. This is episode 47 of I Think We Overleveled. We're discussing just Disney licensed games because there's a lot of them, and some of them are pretty good. So, how's it going, everyone?
Doing all right.
Going.
What was your first Disney licensed game?
It's actually the one that's on the screen right now.
Okay.
I would like to point out this is technically a task, so this is someone who's gone by frame with the inputs.
Did I grab a task? I thought I grabbed just a regular speed run. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, sure enough, task. There it is. Anyway, what was your first one?
That's the question. Was it this one or was it DuckTales? One of the two.
Well, this one came before DuckTales.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying, like.
What about you, Lizzie?
Mine, I think, was quite different. I didn't play any like the official movie or TV show ones. For me, it was one I got in a cereal box.
Oh? Are you gonna clarify that? Or okay, you're
Yes.
clicking on something. Okay.
Sorry, trying to get it loaded. This is Tarzan Jungle Tumble. Back when the movie came out, there were cereal boxes that came with a disc. I still have mine. I have it right
man.
here with me, actually. But it was a very simple game, a little bit of platforming. You're Tarzan going around trying to hit certain items without being attacked by other things. So the first few levels, you're actually baby Tarzan. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit so you guys can see it. And so you're going around trying to collect all your, I guess, parents' furniture and try and get it into the nets down below so that they're safe and the jaguar doesn't get it. And
man, this baby has a lot of responsibility.
And you can pick up like the milk bottles and use it to squirt in the face of the jaguar so that you have some iframes to get past it. And it's a super simple game, but I remember playing this a lot. Really enjoying it.
This was your first one?
I think so. Yeah, because we never really bought any of the official movie games because we kind of assumed they weren't good.
Well, because Tarzan didn't come out until 99.
Yeah, this was from 99. So I was fairly old by the time I played a official Disney game because I don't think we had played Kingdom Hearts yet at that point, and some of the other ones I think came later as well.
Actually, I just realized my first one is what I wanted to talk about a little bit later. So we'll talk about that in a bit.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
We'll talk about some other stuff.
All right. Well, then. We'll just start off. First off, Disney, and I guess this is also just a commentary on modern Disney. The quality used to be better, but the games in particular, the licensed games. Even back then, there was no guarantee a licensed game was going to be good. But going back to Chip and Dale here, this game was fun.
This game was good. This might be the first simultaneous multiplayer I've ever played.
Definitely the first co-op game I ever played. With me and my buddy getting in each other's way and throwing stuff, trying to hit enemies and just causing chaos. But I don't know, it was a fun time. I definitely couldn't do that.
If it's not my first, it's definitely one of my most memorable.
Is there a reason to pick up the flowers? Like, because I played it the other day. I mean, not that long ago.
That star right there that they just got. When you get a bunch of flowers, that'll start floating through, and it's an extra met. So it's like 100 coins in Mario, except with an extra step.
Okay.
I do remember this level lagging a bit, which before I really understood what that meant.
There's so many things going on.
Yeah, and the NES could not handle that. But, I don't know. Had a good time with this game. No. First one I ever beat. Definitely didn't beat it in co-op mode, that's for certain.
In these games, I would always pick up one of the metal, like those gray blocks right there.
Uh-huh.
Because they didn't disappear, and so I'd always go up, find an enemy, duck into it, and let them kill themselves, and then pick the same. I would always carry it through the entire level.
Same. Well, and then just on top of it, the weirdness of you can pick up your teammate.
And they turn upside down.
Yeah, I never got super into this game, but I think it's probably because I played DuckTales first.
Well, DuckTales is just a masterpiece, which, again, made by Capcom.
DuckTales could be its own episode.
But I've mentioned this before. This is the first game where I ever noticed the music.
Mm-hmm.
In a video game.
Good reason.
It's got an amazing soundtrack, and not just the ones that everybody talks about.
Yeah. Well, because obviously everyone talks about Moon Theme, and that was the first one I remember noticing.
I actually think of this level Amazon first.
Uh-huh. Well, this is always the one I would play first, this level.
Well, this is the one that the first one that the One Ups did a cover of, and so the One Ups cover is the one that comes to mind first and foremost. It's just a great song.
It says something about the quality of the music in this game that they have 2 songs that have Brental Floss lyrics. This one and The Moon.
This is true.
I haven't thought about Brental Floss in a while.
He is a classic internet personality. But no, like, this game had, like, everything. Like, it has secrets. It's one of the first games I ever played where you're going back and forth between places. Like, it's actually quite involved. That, and I don't know, it's hard to play too. Just the mechanic of pogoing with Scrooge is simultaneously so much fun, yet not the easiest thing to do.
Oh, as soon as I've got it down and figured it out, I was just like, oh, I am unstoppable now.
Oh my goodness, I love pogoing. It's fantastic.
There's just something satisfying about it.
It's like Mario on steroids, just the being able to hop on enemies.
Well, and then on top of it, the thing, it actually has some pretty precision jumps you have to do at certain points.
Yes,
which,
it does.
For, like 5-year-old me, it's asking me a lot. Like this right here, just getting to that treasure chest. Like, that's not the easiest jump.
Yeah, though I still found it less frustrating than like the Ninja Turtles games.
Well, that's
these jumps here were crazy.
Yeah. But so let's just, the Ninja Turtles ones were bad because the design was bad.
Yeah.
This is not a badly designed game.
Yeah,
no.
There's hard and there's bad.
Yeah.
But this part always messed with me because like it took me a while to figure out exactly where I needed to jump to grab onto that rope.
Well, and the bees always showing up caused problems.
Yes.
Freaking gorillas looking ready for a fight.
This is also one of the first games to frustrate me to no end because when you get to this point, or when you get to a certain point, you have to spend a certain amount of money. And if you don't have that money, then you're just stuck. And normally you feel like, okay, it should be fine. But when you die, you lose money.
I mean,
and so you can get just soft locked.
That always, I wasn't sure how to work on that one either.
Yeah. When you get to Huey, you can be soft locked. It's just like, oh no, you just can't go past here. It's just like, okay, that I think is kind of a poor design choice, but
I think they fixed that in the remake.
They did.
I think they did. And that's one of the few times where I'd say, okay, that's a change that I think should have been made.
Well, and the remake is actually really good just because the remake, oh, wow. Okay. The remake also, like, the music remixes, and they actually add things to the end of the game to make the boss fight more momentous.
Oh yeah, no, I do think they greatly improved that final boss fight, and the touch of having the original cartoon voice actors was fantastic as well. Like, I loved everything about that Way Forward remake. It was great. It's what remakes should be. Unfortunately, you don't see them quite like that anymore.
I can just hear the boss music in my mind. But like all the boss fights got a rework because they're pretty simplistic.
I also love in the Himalayas where it takes away the pogo from you.
Yes, where you can't go into the snow.
Oh, like, yeah.
I felt like, okay, this is a really good way to differentiate a level where you give them something that is just so intrinsic to the game that you get used to and you rely on. And they're just like, okay, you don't get that anymore. What?
And it makes sense because it's like, oh, yeah, pogoing in snow would not work very well.
This was actually my favorite level.
This level was so cool.
Well, and you have to go back to it multiple times. Or at least, one time.
I always loved knocking the helmets off of the...
Oh, yeah.
Off of the...
They had it coming.
Oh, yep. Hi, Webby.
But no, the speaking of things that got improved, the 2016 version of Webby is so much better than the original version.
Are you talking about in the
remake? Yeah, in the remake cartoon or the reboot cartoon, I guess you call it.
I don't know.
Oh, I loved her.
I don't know. She's kind of over the top for me, honestly.
She's way better than the original version, who's just annoying, has no personality other than.
I mean, that was kind of the point. Is she's the annoying little sister type?
Yeah.
Whereas in the new one, it's like she's basically a ninja, and I thought that was kind of dumb.
Oh, I loved it. I loved the. She's not a ninja, spy. She's training to be a spy from her grandmother. I don't know. I don't know. It added a lot for me.
I don't know. I thought it was dumb.
Okay.
I
love this section right here. I was just like, ooh, like just the bounce. It was just. I felt so cool when I was like, oh, that's how we get there.
Yeah, I wasn't like, because on the part where you're walking away from the rock, I couldn't figure it out until I saw someone else. Also, I do like when you slam the wall.
Yep. And the sound effect there is just, it's a great one. It's like that high pitched buzzing thing.
Yeah.
Okay, these mummies. Where you take out the ball and chain as their weakness. That was really interesting.
And then they're naked. Poor mummies.
I never really understood why ice cream was the health item, though.
Makes me healthier. I don't know about you. No? We're not. Okay, I guess not. All right. But yeah, no, DuckTales is awesome, and everyone should play it. And the other thing, just about the remake, I love how in the remake the original music is what, like, they play the 8-bit music for like the first couple beats, and then it kicks in with an orchestrated version of the theme, but you still have the 8-bit playing behind it.
Oh, talking about the moon theme?
No, I mean the just like the DuckTales theme.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It starts off with it's like it gives you the hint of nostalgia, and then it's like, but it's gonna be a bit more. I don't know. It's just one of those ones where it's like they're actually gonna play with both, which is a lot of remakes struggle with. They either are so faithfully adapted, it's like, why did we even make this game? Or it's just so different, it's like, why are you just not calling this a different game at all? But this one
frustrates me that this guy just skipped that chest twice.
Yeah, and that I liked how some of the chests basically had you play golf to be able to get, like, it was different and interesting.
Donkey Kong Country, eat your heart out.
I just realized it's the first version of the minecarts from Donkey Kong Country. Had the exact same thought. But no, this game is awesome.
Yeah. So get the secrets. Don't.
I didn't play.
It's always frustrating. It's always frustrating when you're watching somebody play a game that you know inside and out, and they just are missing all of the little secrets. You're like, no, there's a secret there.
And the secret treasures that just pop out whenever you go to a certain place where it kind of gives you a reason to bounce around and fill the space. It's interesting. Like, part of me feels like that would be frustrating, but it's actually kind of fun.
The other thing that's interesting is that this game actually got a sequel. I never played it.
It was okay. It didn't have the charm of this first one.
I actually have a friend that has a copy, his cartridge still, and his basement flooded, and it got damaged, but I think it still works.
Rough. But glad it works. Let's talk about a not good adaptation. So my cousins, they had an NES game. It was an adaptation of a Disney property. Did anyone play Little Mermaid for the NES?
I put that on there. Oh no, you put it on there too, so it's on there twice, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
Ooh,
I
I have
remember this
not
game.
played this one.
It is
I
not good.
don't know.
but I still enjoyed
It's
it.
bad.
I'm trying to think. Have I played it? I don't know, but
I remember
It
watching
looks
this
bad.
TV series, and this TV series was good, but I didn't play the game.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's actually not as bad as I remember thinking, okay, this is bad at first, and then I played through it. I was like, okay, I enjoyed this more than I thought. It's not great, and it's not like an adaptation of the movie. It's just mermaid game,
wait,
Disney theme.
is she attacked by farting bubbles at them?
She's swishing bubbles at them.
Yeah. How dare you imply? We all know women don't fart. At least I've been informed as such by women. But
no, I actually did beat this, I believe.
Huh. Yeah, I just remember they had it and I thought it was bad. It's like, this isn't very fun. Especially coming after like DuckTales and stuff.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
well.
But no. Mostly I just wanted to rag on this. See, there was another thing from the Disney afternoon though, that was another made by Capcom, good platformer, and that's the Darkwing Duck game.
This one's a classic. I mean, I mostly just wanted to play this game because I love the show so much.
Yeah. Well,
This is one I actually haven't played that much.
This is another one that came late in the NES life cycle. And you can and you can tell that this is in Capcom's era where they had kind of figured out the NES, sort of like Mega Man 6, where you're like, if you look at Mega Man 6 versus the original Mega Man, you're like, how on earth is this the same system? Because you're just doing way more with it, and that's kind of how this game is. I mean, like, look at it has.
I mean, it almost looks like an SNES game, almost.
Yeah, like it's almost there.
No, they were pulling everything out of this game, this console, at that point.
But no, and this isn't. I think the soundtrack for this it's not quite DuckTales. I think it's a pretty good banger though. But you just like look at how detailed this is.
Yeah.
And like how many frames Darkwing has like for these little pre-game stuff.
Not just how many frames, like look at his, like the pose and stuff that they use. It's just like it's got so much personality. He doesn't just walk, he prowls the way that Darkwing does.
Yeah. He is the terror that flaps in the night after all.
He is the dust that gets in your video game and won't let you play.
That's a good one. I like that.
Very nice.
But this is also something like that they did because it would be so easy for them to just take the Mega Man formula and just copy paste it over to a different game. But with DuckTales, they changed it up by making the pogo thing be how you traverse. Whereas Darkwing, you see him doing a bunch of like grabbing onto ledges. And just and then like Rescue Rangers, it's like, okay, we're gonna play with the fact that there's two of them, and they're like, this game's meant to be played with two, and so they always added in an extra thing that they didn't have to. I mean, there are a lot of really bad cash-in games, and even back then, which I do think this era there were less straight cash-in games the way that there is now.
Well, partly because the industry was still reeling from ET.
Yeah. And so if you're going to make a good game, or if you're going to make a game, you're actually going to make a game. But I don't know.
I even remember like it's not Disney, but I remember like the NES Batman game. Very, very different, but it's just like, okay, this is not a cash-in game. There's mechanics behind it. There's actually a game here.
Unfortunately, the same I don't think can be said about the Super Nintendo Batman games, but
oh gosh.
Batman Returns is a treasure, and I don't know what you're talking. Or no, Batman Forever. That's the one.
Batman Forever. That's the one I was saying.
My buddy had that, and man,
yeah,
they sure made it really difficult to play that game.
Oh my goodness! It's like instead of making a platformer, let's make it a platformer fighter, but not as interesting as that one we talked about a while ago.
Exactly. But no, so this is just the era of like Capcom in this era didn't know how to make a bad platformer.
Well, it's these games that made Capcom. In some respect, I do think a lot of the companies that are still around are just still living off the fumes of the good games that they made back in the NES and SNES days.
Yeah, a lot of them now kind of are.
Well, and you're seeing a lot of them rely on things like remakes and re-releases to sort of fund the fund whatever the next thing is.
Right.
But no, so that was it of the sort of the Disney Afternoon NES games. But there's one more Disney Afternoon game I wanted.
There was Tailspin, but I think that one was terrible.
I never played it, so I can't speak to it. But there was one more Disney Afternoon game.
I didn't like the show either, so maybe it's more I didn't like the show.
It took me a while to get into it, but once I got into Tailspin, I loved it.
I just sort of watched it to watch it. But no, the only other Disney Afternoon game I played, and this is one that I'm kind of surprised I forgot to put in the It Was There episode where you're just playing it because it's what you had. Has anyone here played Goof Troop for the SNES?
I did not.
No.
This is one of the few games my grandparents that live around here that they had.
I watched a speed run of this before because I'm like, it looks familiar, but I know I didn't play it.
Yeah, no, I think it was a speed run I've seen. Yeah,
it's actually it's actually kind of like I wouldn't say it's a good game, but it's kind of an interesting game.
It's very Link to the Past inspired.
Well, yes, it looks like.
Well, so here's the thing.
More like Marvelous, actually.
Well, so here's the thing that's interesting is, first of all, I think it's best played with 2 people. Because you have one is Goofy, one is Max. But the thing is, you can only hold one item at a time. So right now, Goofy has the grappling hook that, as you can see, lets him grab things from a distance. But there's times later on where you'll want to switch to a different item, and it changes how you play the game.
Huh. So now he's got the bell.
Yeah, and so I think in one player mode you can grab 2 because there are some puzzles that require you to have 2 items.
Okay. No, I never played this.
Yeah, my grandparents had it, and so I wouldn't say it's great, but it's interesting in what it decides to do.
It's still so alien to me that your grandparents had video game consoles.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the difference. I don't know.
You can use the shovel, huh?
And it totally makes sense, though. Like, if a grandparent is going to have a video game console, of course they're buying the Disney games. Like,
well, yeah,
this
that
must be child friendly.
Well, because the other 2 games they had, this one.
Oh gosh, this one.
This game was so freaking hard.
It was so hard.
It was so good, though.
Well, some people loved it, but I didn't. I'm just like, it's a platformer, and I don't like it, and it's hard, and I just.
Part of that is to get to the fun part, you have to go through the hardest part. Because, like, it gets so much more fun when Simba grows up. And you actually have an attack move. Rather than just, I'm jumping on stuff.
Yeah. The thing that's interesting.
When Simba grows up, you can swipe and you can. Yeah.
The thing that really stands out to me about this one is how fluid the animation is. And partially it's because they actually got Disney animators to work on this.
Well, they're also working with Westwood Studios and Virgin, who did some really good stuff at the time.
Yeah, but this is just insane. This puzzle in particular took me forever to figure out as a kid.
This level is one
it just took me
that
forever to
makes me
figure
not
out.
like this game.
Oh, this is the level everyone remembers because it broke people.
Well, and like this section
one and
feels
the-
like they ripped
the
it
wi-
straight out of the Aladdin game.
Yeah, this one and the what's it called? The Stampede.
Yeah. Which is funny.
The Stampede is a fascinating twist because they shifted the perspective
Yeah.
where instead of running left to right, Simba's running towards the screen and trying to dodge wildebeests as they come from behind him. It's one of the first run from the boulder type things that I remember playing. Which is kind of the bread and butter of games like Crash Bandicoot, but
Yeah, but just I don't know, the animation of this is so fluid.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, the animation is really good. It's
stunning. It really is stunning.
There just wasn't a lot like it in terms of just the look. Now, part of that's also a guy dang it, because like in that jumping section, it was really hard to to see what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything's so gorgeous, it all kind of looks the same.
You don't know what's actually part of the level and what's just sort of a decoration.
Yeah. But pretty good game overall, I have to say. I liked it.
This was an excellent game.
It's actually the soundtrack too, just because they do a good job
didn't do it for me.
They did a good job of adapting the songs as well into the 16-bit style.
But like, look at this. Look at the backgrounds. You've got the parallax effect going on. You've got it's just stunning. Like, it's a technically impressive game. Now, this level was so confusing to get around in
because it's a maze.
Exactly.
No. All right. Yeah. Another one of these games, I forgot to get it. They had Jungle Book as well, which was actually remarkably similar to this game. But the one I really want to discuss is the one that I think, when you think Disney games.
And I think it's the one that I like.
Yep.
As opposed to, like, that's the thing. I'm like, I don't want to play Lion King. I want to play Aladdin, which also
but which Aladdin?
Yeah, that's the thing that's interesting is both because that's like everything gets adapted to multiple systems back then, and due to just how different all the systems were, you always had to be very different. And so the SNES versus Genesis, we got two good games.
Completely different games, though.
Completely different. They're both great. And the one that I played the most...
I have a definite preference. Do y'all?
I actually prefer, largely because of the system that I had and, I don't know, had more opportunity to play it, the Super Nintendo one. Even though I do know there's a lot of people that argue that the Genesis version is better. And the fact that you can, fight back with a sword as opposed to just throwing apples, I will admit, is cooler.
Well, that's the weird thing. The things that they both had, they both had throwing apples.
Yes.
Which is it's a bizarre choice.
But neither version. Well, I mean, it fits, considering all of the running around scenes, the stolen apples and stuff. But both of them had throwing apples, but neither of them, the apples actually did damage. The apples were to stun.
Yeah. Well, and that was the other thing that's interesting, because just where the SNES really tries to lean into more you're a thief. And so you're just getting around and you're not really fighting. You're
running.
Yeah. You're moving.
Well, and if you think about it, in the movie, Aladdin doesn't fight.
No.
I also think
he's a guile here.
The music sounds better in the Super Nintendo, just because I like the Super Nintendo sound chip better as well.
Absolutely. I will 100% grant you that. But the thing is, Nintendo at the time was really leaning hard into family-friendly, keep it unviolent type stuff. And so there is no sword in this version. and it just feels. It felt very. Well, I mean, overly G-rated for me. I was a little bit older when this came out, and so it was just like, no, the Genesis version is so much better.
Well, the other thing that's interesting,
plus the that cave escape scene in the Genesis version is awesome.
I feel like I thought it's the same.
Well, I feel like though this is kind of truer to the movie because he doesn't really fight in the movie at all.
Yeah,
but
no, I agree that this is truer to the movie.
I agree, but I didn't care that it was truer to the movie at the time. I remember the other one being a much more fun game.
Granted, Aladdin was like my favorite. Actually, probably still is my favorite Disney movie. So, that's a big part of it too.
Let's see, I'm trying to. Oh, is this just okay? Cave of. I'm trying to get to the escape scene. Oh, here it is. Or wait, no. Wow, we spend more time in the Cave of Wonders than I remember. Oh, is this only one half?
Quite a bit.
Infidels.
Yeah, I think the escape sequence isn't in this one.
Well, let's see if the Genesis one has it.
The Genesis has the escape sequence.
Well, they both have an escape sequence.
Oh, you mean in the video? Got it.
Yeah. But that's the so watching.
There was just something so much more satisfying about using the sword but yeah, this right here.
So that level was so.
It was so fun. It was.
Oh wait, this is a speed run, right? There's something with the speed run where you only do it a little bit.
Oh really? Like it glitches.
But
through?
this whole level is so weird on the Genesis. I'm trying to think. Is there a level that looks like this in the?
Yeah, there is, and that's one
Nintendo?
Of the things. That's one of the things I remember more is the Super Nintendo one, because they both have the thing where they they focus in a lot on column A and column B lines.
I noticed there's a lot of column A and column B going here.
And I just remember both of them really play with it. And it was just one of those things I'm like, it's weird that they both focus so much on column A and column B as a line from the song.
It's a good song. I mean, it's a good line from the song.
But it's just a single line.
Try some of column A, try all of column B. And it's like, we're going to have
a
lot of it.
That's all of it.
That's the other thing. In the speed run, I love how little he cares about actually interacting with the game.
Like, I don't remember them, leaning heavy on like the whole baklava thing, but I felt that was a more impactful line to me.
Yeah. And even like this level, the focus on the flamingos. The flamingos weren't there much either, but it still sticks out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and man, how many Iagos is he going to be able to kill here?
No, it's a different Iago each time. He just gets all his feathers back because even though he's molting. But no,
the merchant was just there out of nowhere.
This game always makes me want to play Prince of Persia.
The animation in here, just that fight, holy cow. Like, this is another one where they actually hired Disney animators to help them with the animation. And it shows. Like, I do think the Genesis, the animation is more fluid. But the SNES, it's actually you feel like a thief.
Fair enough.
Especially with the flipping.
Like, difference between a stealth game and a all-out fighting game.
Yeah, action versus exactly.
But when this came out, I was wanting an action game, so.
But I mean, I didn't own my own. I guess I kind of did own a Genesis, but I didn't have much on it.
And speedrunners always stress me out with how much they use their health as a resource. Anyway, no, this the Aladdin games, just both of them were really good.
Yeah, both were good. I mean, that's the thing. People are like, "Oh, which one's better?" It's like, well, they're both good. So
But yeah, like see, these days they just port the exact same game to a different system. But
Yeah, because
back
both
then, it
games
was
have
just
enough of similar
buttons.
resources that you can do that. But
Right.
to make a SNES game versus a Genesis game is a very different experience in terms of how you make the game. Because like the number of times like they ported a game over and just tried to like bring the exact same songs over. And it's like, you cannot do that. Those are very different sound chips. What sounds good on a Genesis is not what sounds good on a SNES.
100%.
It's like the Genesis sound chip is crunchy. It's like, why is Sonic's music so much better than the rest of the stuff on the Genesis? It's like, because they designed their music around the sound chip, whereas everyone else is like, just put the notes in. And it's like, that's not a good idea.
Were they both made by Virgin Games, or was the
No,
Super
this was
Nintendo
made by
a different company? I'm trying to remember.
No, this was let's see, it'll show us.
Because the Genesis was Virgin, right?
Yeah, I think this one was made by Traveler's Tales.
Yes, it was.
If memory serves me correct, I think that's true. Which is funny because those are the same people that made the Sonic 3D Blast for the Sega.
Well, they also made another one that I have on here.
Oh, which one was that?
This is one of the few. Let's see. This one right here. So this is the only Pixar entry we've got.
Nope, we have two.
Oh, we do?
Yep.
Okay, this is the only Pixar entry I've got. But yeah, so yeah, Traveler's Tales. But it was Toy Story. So this is one that Petrivka was talking about as well. So I was surprised he didn't join because this is one that he brought up.
He had kid duty tonight.
Got it. But this game to me was actually a lot of fun until one level that just was a brick wall for me. And I think
is this the Genesis or the SNES version?
This is the SNES.
Okay. I think they're the same game.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're the same one.
This is one where they tried to do the same thing in both games, but due to the limitations, so there were some shortcuts they had to make for the Genesis. Because Mode 7 was very integral for the claw level.
Got it. Yeah, the one that always just it was a brick wall for me was Sid's house.
Yes.
Yep.
Same
because
thing.
The whole karate chop thing. Well, there was no feedback that you'd actually succeeded in a hit, and so I didn't know if I was even playing right.
Well, and
I do like the touch of using the Etch-a-Sketch there. To be your mission briefing.
No,
it's just a very weird. Like this game for me was in a very weird spot of.
Oh, they were trying to do a little bit weird.
It does.
They were trying to do a little bit more than they were capable of, I think.
But
that hitbox is going to be so awkward. My goodness.
Yeah, no, they try and do a lot in this game too. Like there's these levels, but let's see if we can move forward. Then there's the RC levels.
This was fun.
I hated this so much.
Why?
Because I couldn't control it.
RC Pro-Am.
It took me so long to figure out how to control this thing properly.
See, and this is like I remember. What was it? Oh gosh, it was an old off-road.
Okay.
On the NES.
Yeah, what we're seeing now, that was my experience playing the game. Mostly bouncing into walls.
No, I loved this level.
I hated the RC levels. I eventually got good, but I did not like them.
I did enjoy the RC Pro-Am games, but I've never played this game before, so I don't know exactly how well it
so it controls just like if an RC car where you just turn it left or right.
Controls.
What?
Yeah, RC Pro-Am's the same way, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just I could not wrap my head around this I didn't really play with, or I didn't play any RC games. I didn't play with RC cars. And so the constant needing to, because you got to reorient yourself. You're like, okay, I'm looking at RC and where he is and where
you have to control from his perspective.
Yeah. And I struggled with that. But yeah, then they have levels like this where you're having to dodge obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy. Like these, especially when RC showed up.
I mean, again, it's a callback to Battletoads and stuff like that.
Yeah. Ooh, okay, you know what? I was trying to think of a comparison and I couldn't come up with that. That's a good comparison. Let's see, what was the next level?
I think it was Pizza Planet.
I'm trying to remember what this was. A boss fight, wasn't it? That's
yeah,
right.
You're fighting Buzz underneath
under the truck.
Like, yeah, outside of Pizza Planet. And you have to hit him with that tire to trap him.
Yeah.
I remember my nephews, when I was playing this game, he would always, because when Buzz does that spin attack, he says to infinity and beyond. And my nephew would always think he was saying to infinity because he's spinning.
Hey, that's funny.
Cute.
And so he gypsy to infinity and beyond.
How well did it sound on the SNES?
Not good.
Yeah.
Then they have a stealth level out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, this is definitely pulled straight from the game. So, the movie makes sense.
No, it fits. It's just the fact that they did it. Like,
yeah, but yeah, like you said, it's a stealth level. So if there's a person coming, you got to drop down into the cup so that they don't see you and damage you.
Like so you take damage if they see you.
If they're walking by and you're not hiding in the cup, then you take damage.
Then you're inside
the claw machine.
Trying to... There it is.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh, you couldn't do that on a Genesis? Oh, my goodness.
No, they did. It's just not very good in comparison.
This reminds me of the SNES Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Which we should talk about in another episode.
Yeah, this is where Mode 7 is just a much better technology suited to something like this.
Right.
This game is such a weird hodgepodge of levels.
It really is.
Exactly. Yeah. Like that's what makes this game so interesting is because then there's like so you're just trying to get all the LGMs and you're dropping them basically into the claw machine area. And you have to do it a certain amount of time.
Yeah, the fact that you're playing all these different games with completely different mechanics within the same game on the SNES is fairly impressive.
Man, for some reason I expect him to, pick up the alien and the antenna's like a gun that you could shoot out of.
Yeah, this is like I know it looks like it, but this isn't Wolfenstein.
That's exactly what it looks like to me.
But in reality, the way it actually plays, this is more like the dam level from the Ninja Turtles.
Language.
Really?
Yeah, well, because instead of diffusing bombs, you're having to find the LGMs and
within a timer.
What about that one Banjo-Kazooie level? I kind of get vibes on that.
Oh, Angry Aztec.
The one where you go into first person mode.
Yeah, Angry Aztec.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to find all these and deliver them. It's bizarre, but then like they weren't done because then you have this level.
This level was just maddening. It took me forever to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do. What you're doing is the claw comes and tries to pick up Buzz, and then whenever it does, you knock these little aliens into it as projectile weapons.
But yeah, it's not intuitive.
No, it really isn't.
Oh man.
Let's see. And then here's Sid's level.
Okay, so it's the level after this that I was talking about.
For me, it was particularly the boss fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, here it
Yes,
is.
right here.
You have
I had no idea what I was doing.
You have to use Buzz's karate chop action to fend off the Sid toys, but you've never had to do this before, and suddenly you have to do it in a boss fight.
Yeah.
And you, in the meantime, you have the spider toy coming from behind, and you can't turn Buzz around, and so it's not clear what you have to do.
Which is why it was a wall for me.
And then I finally figured out, oh, you're supposed to just hold right and use Buzz's karate chop.
It's a Crocomere fight.
Yeah.
Where you're not trying to damage them to a certain point, you're trying to push them back.
And so you have to do that because the spider... Oh, what's the spider? Is this guy just going so fast the spider doesn't show up?
Yes, the spider's...
I don't understand. I always barely survived this fight.
Yeah.
This is too easy. I want to see Mario suffer for his stars.
This is weird.
Oh, there's the spider.
There's the spider.
It's fun. But again, this is like, look at the animation on this. This is actually pretty impressive. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the game ends with an RC level because you got to catch up, and then wait, did I already? Okay, I already skipped it. Then I know we're a flying level for the final level.
Well, and the thing is, I love flying levels for final levels.
I mean, they are doing it.
That is rude. A good job
following it.
If you want to get all the stars, you have to go way ahead and get that one final star that's at the front. I forgot about that. That is mean. Man, 100%ing this game is rough.
Now, the whole cutscene aspect of this game is just, here's a wall of text.
Yeah.
But still.
So, there was one more Pixar on this. Incredibles for the PS2 or Xbox.
Okay, I never played this.
My parents got it for me for Christmas because I'm a big fan of the Incredibles, and there's like, he likes video games. I'm like, I'm in college, and they're like, yeah, let's just try it anyway. So I got this game, and let me tell you.
Also, did you have a PS2?
I did not. Petrivka did. To be honest, I might have had the Xbox version.
Okay.
Which it's the same game.
Right.
Yeah.
But they take a lot of liberties with the source material to make levels out of it.
You still got time.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. But
yeah, I never played. I don't think I even really saw stuff about this game.
It's just something that's like, I'm actually kind of impressed by this game on some level because they nail the aesthetic perfectly. Yeah. And like it's not just throwaway slop the way a lot of these types of games are.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, it's just not very engaging.
Yeah, it's got a very, very basic game design underneath the visuals, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just looks like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a thing, it's fine, you know.
There was one level though that was a ton of fun.
A whole lot of flash, but no bang, as I like to say.
This level,
speaking of flash,
this level is a ton of fun.
Dash flash, good, close enough.
But no, the where you just get to be a rollerball and your job is to just plow into everything. This level was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it stuck out to me.
Fun. Absolutely. No, this looks like a lot of fun.
It's like superhero Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah, exactly. Except the things that you hit scream. Which that'll teach them.
Well,
But no,
it's nice to every so often when they give you a level where you just go through and you're a ball of destruction.
yeah, the God mode part of the game, sort of like the end
Yep.
of
Super Metroid.
any Metroid really at this point.
Right.
But also like the end of Half-Life 2, where suddenly your gravity gun can pick up anything, including enemies.
Honestly, this level feels very similar to the movie too. Like, because in the movie they've kind of been careful and this and then they get to the island and it is just kind of like, all right, we're going, use your powers, and that watching this, the level feels like that.
In the movie, the camera works this way.
Yeah, it
Like,
feels
it felt
very much like the movie.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing I like about this scene in the movie, it's because the kids have been hiding their powers, all this time, and you have Dash, who's just been begging to use his powers, and Violet, who's embarrassed by them.
But she's embarrassed by them, but and like she learns, oh, I can do some cool stuff with this.
Yeah, and they have the scene where, because they're about to shoot Dash, and she dives in front and does the bubble, and it's just the whole, how are you doing this? I don't know. And it's like, well, don't stop.
And she kind of smiles. And it's her moment. Like Dash has his moment when he runs on water and he just sort of giggles to himself.
100-mile dash, which is also part of the game somewhere.
And then she gets her moment where she looks down and she's like, oh, powers. That's what it means. It's not, this isn't what makes me a freak. This is, something special that I can do.
Yeah. And I just love that Dash is immediately literally rolling with it.
And it suits the personalities in the movie so well.
Yeah. But no, this was a fun part as well, but everything other than that kind of just didn't work. But yeah. All right. So we've hit.
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, while we were still focusing on the Genesis and Super Nintendo era, I think the best of the games, specifically on the Genesis, would have to be Quackshot. I love me some Quackshot.
Quackshot's interesting because it's a platformer with some adventure elements.
That's kind of what I always like, the games where you could kind of go back to old areas. That's why I was such a fan of RPGs where you could go back to old towns, revisit dungeons, Metroidvanias. Like, there's a reason why I was always drawn to them, and this one has that kind of Metroidvania feel to it. Because and you get power-ups that, I mean, this is basically...
I don't think I ever played this one.
Oh, really?
This was a Genesis exclusive. And
Yep.
And the thing is, I just remember, which obviously you can see what they're parodying just right off the bat.
I didn't get to play it as much as I would have liked to, because I didn't have it myself. But man, yeah, this was a classic game where you could create platforms because you had like your plunger gun.
Oh yes.
And so you'd plunger a wall and it'd stick to the wall, and then you could jump on the plunger. And so as your plunger gun got leveled up, you could reach more areas than you could before. And that's kind of a lot of what made it a kind of Metroidvania. And you had different power-ups. Like, I don't know, it was a really cool game, I thought. Like,
well, the other thing, I never, because it was my buddy that had it, and we just got to this one part where we just couldn't figure out what to do. And where, like, they had, like, the Indiana Jones falling ceiling thing. Because you have a slide in this game, and we thought you were supposed to like slide really quickly and then make a platform, and I don't know, we just never figured it out, and so it kind of just got put on the back shelf. Which, if the person just slides and just executes better, I'm gonna be mad at 5-year-old me. But yeah, it's just. This is another one where it's like, man, this is really good animation.
I love his jumping animation, especially.
Well, and it's also very...
The model is funny.
It's also very, let's avoid violence. We're shooting them with plungers. They're stunned. It's like there's like, because Donald's not a killer,
Not yet.
He's got anger issues, but he keeps it in check.
Well, that and you notice in the bottom there's a temper meter, and when that gets filled up, he does go on a temper tantrum, and he can defeat a lot of enemies that way.
Right, but again, he's not killing them. He's like it's a very G-rated quote violence.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's just something interesting, particularly in this era. But
wait a minute,
it's a very Disney.
Ice cream came out of that guy for health. Again.
Yeah. Ducks and ice cream, man.
Apparently.
Yeah.
See?
Yep, there's ice cream. And I'm trying to think, wasn't it like in this game, like there was an item of like a jalapeno pepper that automatically filled his temper all the way, something like that.
Definitely something like that.
Yeah, I don't know this one that much. Like I remember hearing of it, but this was not one that I knew.
And yeah, I feel like the Genesis got its this as its exclusive, which was its Donald Duck exclusive, but the Super Nintendo got its own Donald Duck exclusive that was a different game. And I've never actually played it, but I've heard the music to it because it's got great music. And it's also weird, but the what's it called? Maui Mallard and Cold Shadow. Have you heard of that?
I have not.
I haven't.
So
wait,
what in the world?
I've seen this image.
This looks familiar.
I've seen this image.
Yeah, so it's like an alter ego of Donald Duck, where he's Maui Mallard, and he's like part ninja, part Miami PD.
Yeah, it's a 70s like cheap kung fu exploitation film.
Because I think it was like inspired by some of those like Miami PD type shows, but and also ninjas. But like, yeah, exactly. But the because like, yeah, you play as Donald for a while, but then like he gets his alter ego of Maui Mallard, and then has like a bow staff and ninja moves. But it's got great music. But I've never actually.
The animation is very impressive.
Oh yeah, the animation's good. I've never actually played this game. I'm just familiar with it. It's one that I'd like to play at some point. I've seen it at the retro store. I was tempted to pick it up. I can't remember what the price was, but it was This is one that's been on my radar.
Well, if you're in town, we've got a good retro store here as well. So next time you come visit, you should check it out.
I'd like to. I'd like that a lot.
I do love visiting retro stores.
and it's fun to visit a new retro store because you know, when you go to your same one every time, it's like, you got anything new? Or
you picked through it, yeah.
I mean, the one here is really good at getting rare stuff in all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So another one that I didn't play this one. I was hoping because I think Petrivka played it, but I could be wrong. The Gargoyles game for the Genesis.
I didn't know this existed.
Yeah, I don't think I knew either.
It got a remaster recently, I believe.
Speaking of Disney afternoon games, wow.
Yeah.
No, Gargoyles was my favorite show when I was this age.
Gargoyles was pretty awesome of a show, man.
It is pretty awesome. Still really good.
It holds up. It holds up.
Fair enough.
I swear
this is the show that was made in response to Batman the Animated Series. Like Disney wanted their something like this.
Like, look at how he moves.
Yeah.
So fluid.
I did not know this game existed. And then the climb, it's like iconic part of the show. Because they don't fly, they glide, and so they have that epic, just every time they stick their claws into cement, it just shakes and resonates. And
well, the thing that really I like in this thing is they really sell the verticality by having not just horizontal parallaxing. Because like you see the moon gets more in frame the higher he climbs.
You're right.
Oh, that's neat.
And then this is where you got to use your double jump. But yeah, this is one that I didn't know till I got older about this game, and I've never played it, which I swear there is a remaster.
It's fast too. Like
I really like how they started out in ancient Scotland.
Well, the reason it's fast is because it's on the Genesis and it has blast processing. I've been reasonably told.
I forgot about blast processing.
Yeah,
sure.
Okay. I've been they explained it to me.
I thought the blast processing just meant the processor exploded when it got too warm.
Blast.
Seems like Limited Run did the remaster, maybe?
Well, Limited Run doesn't make games.
Yeah,
well, no, but I mean, like, they sold it, which looks like it's sold out. Dang it.
Yeah, okay, I could see them releasing one, printing it. I guess they do make games, they don't develop games. There we go.
Right.
Oh, it's on Steam, apparently.
Oh, really?
Is it just is it a straight port or is it a remake?
It says remastered.
So sort of like DuckTales remastered, but
I'm looking at the I remember looking at the trailer for this, but I forgot. Let's see, so far it's looking but this is the intro. I think they're about to show the remaster. Yeah, this is a full remaster. Yeah, because the animation in the remaster, it's straight up looks like it's from the cartoon.
Okay.
That's cool.
I like that they didn't try and do some little sideways, like Goliath isn't the main character type thing. Because a lot of games would do stuff like that. Where it's like, this is a Gargoyles game. You play as Bronx.
Well, I don't know if maybe you play some of the different ones later, but I don't think...
it looks like that. Yeah, that
I wouldn't mind
Broadway.
playing as I wouldn't mind playing as Hudson.
Or not Broadway,
Brooklyn?
Brooklyn, yeah.
I don't think so. I think it was just the level was red.
I think it's the
This
line.
game looks
right.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
This looks
may
pretty
need to
awesome,
check this one
man.
out.
Goodness.
Well, apparently it's on Steam for like $15.
All right then.
I'll put it on my wish list.
I could see this being one to play on a Steam Deck.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we've been talking a lot of...
I just pulled up the trailer and I just heard Keith David 1,000 years ago.
Nice.
You were saying, Lizzie?
Yeah, we've been talking a lot of older stuff. I haven't really played SNES, but there is one that got a remake that I did play.
Oh.
So it is Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse.
I loved this game.
There were tons of Mickey games. There was tons of them.
This is very different from the version I played, though.
Oh yeah,
I remember the original. Yeah.
Well, this one, when you got it, it actually came with this version of it, but it also came with the OG version as well. Yeah. Right? I'm pretty sure it was sold as a bundle.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
But I did enjoy playing this one. It was, classic Mickey, not based on any cartoon or anything, but you have to go and save Minnie, and it's just kind of this castle full of magic, and you got to make your way through it.
No, I
don't remember this boss, though.
I do remember the boss fights were actually pretty fun in this remake.
See, I don't think I ever played the remake, but I remember the original. I remember playing the original. I don't fully remember it because it's been so long. But...
Yeah, it's been a while since I played this one, too, but this was one of the ones that came to mind when we were talking Disney.
Yeah, and this was a Genesis exclusive, wasn't it?
I believe so.
I'm not sure because I got it on the PS3 along with the remake. So, yeah, I'm not
Well,
sure
then-
if it was exclusive or not.
Yeah, no, this was a good one. I remember enjoying it. But
Actually-
although the other one, there was another one that I preferred. But
Actually,
we'll
was
talk
there a
about that in
version
minute.
on the Master System, or was it just Genesis?
I think it was
I-
just Genesis.
I think it was just Genesis. No, this
But
was
yeah.
this was interesting.
Well, like back in the day, they had tons of just Mickey Mouse games. You know, there was
Well,
Castle
Like,
of Illusion,
Mickey
Mousecapade.
Mousecapades.
Mousecapades.
Oh,
That's not
this
the one I
game-
was thinking of, but yeah, this one too.
I was so excited to play this, and then it was just one of those. This is it's hard.
It's hard.
It's a hard game. And I was just like,
Mm.
they talk about, oh, this isn't some just Mickey Mouse game. No, this is like Mickey Mouse game doesn't mean easy in this. Well, you don't even start off with the ability to shoot. Or to attack at all. And so
I think I've seen this one a bit, but I don't think I've ever actually played it. The Mickey Mouse game I remember playing a lot on the Super Nintendo that I enjoyed
here it comes.
was Magical Quest.
Yes, Mickey's Magical Quest. Or the
Which-
Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse, right?
Yeah, which goodness, I really enjoyed like how it's Capcom. Of course, I was about to make a comparison to Mega Man, and sure enough, it's Capcom. But the whole different power-ups that give Mickey the different powers, whether whether he's got the magical turban or if he's got the firefighter outfit.
It had Kirby energy.
Yes, absolutely.
Kirby or Kid Chameleon or something like that.
And yeah, no, it was a fun game.
No,
I
I
enjoyed
loved
it.
this game. I loved this one.
This was a fun one.
Because you start off as basic Mickey, and then you get like special hats that turned him into different types of Mickey.
I'm trying to remember, were they locked to a certain level, or did you choose which one you wanted in a certain
I think they were
time?
power-ups, I think you found them in certain places, sort of like a Fire Flower in Mario.
Okay.
I think that's what I remember. Is this
Memory
guy
is
just
a
going in
fickle
circles?
thing.
He is going in circles. Let's skip ahead.
What the crap is this?
Is that like a hippo snake? What?
I want to see a power up.
I did not expect us to be fighting Wuzzles.
There he is. Now Fireman Mickey.
Yeah, and he's even got the. Well, yeah, it shows him he's got access
got-
to the
yeah.
turban as well.
But he's got a water meter. He's got. Yeah. Oh, this was a fun game.
Mickey in hell. I didn't expect the Mickey Doom crossover.
Boom.
Rip and tear.
Haha, rip and tear.
More recent Mickey, Disney's Epic Mickey. That was
Okay,
one
I have
got to
opinions
play.
on Epic Mickey.
I never played it. I saw it in what's it called? In Nintendo Power, and I thought, okay, this looks awesome. And then I just never really
So
picked it up. And everyone I heard,
I have
was bashing it.
opinions. The reason I have opinions
Okay.
is because it Life, the Universe, and Everything, which is a sentence that doesn't make any sense to anyone who didn't go to BYU. There was basically, it was a writing convention, but for reasons I don't know, they had some developers of people who were working on a game that I had only heard about. Like, there weren't really trailers or anything for it. We just knew it was in production for Epic Mickey. And so they were showing off the concept art for this game. And the concept art that they had,
It's amazing. Oh
It's
my
incredible.
gosh.
it's all these, like, it was closer to like Five Nights at Freddy's with the aesthetic that it appeared they wanted to go with at first.
Yeah,
Like,
it had very creepy feeling to it.
and I was just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh my goodness,
It's like
this,
it was like Ink Nightmares, kind of the
yeah, an animatronic nightmare as well.
uh-huh.
And I was just like, oh my goodness. So I was excited for this game. And then it came out, and it's clear the House of Mouse said, no, you will not be doing that. That is far too grim for what we plan to be doing here.
And I'm just sitting here like, I saw the Black Cauldron. You can do grim.
Yeah, modern Disney don't do that type of grim. But so that wasn't the only issue though, because I played the Wii version of this game.
Motion controls.
It wasn't the motion control that was the problem. It was the freaking camera.
Yes, the camera in this game is bad. This is the Wii version.
Yeah, the camera in this game, it's like we're back to Super Mario 64.
Oh man.
Because I'm like, I'm sorry. I feel like we figured out how to do a camera in a 3D platformer, but you all seem to have forgotten how it works.
I think, Lizzie, did you beat this game?
I did. I think I actually made it one of my foreign febs previous year because I had gotten pretty far and then had set it down. And
which version did you play?
I was playing on the Wii.
Okay. So how on earth did you fight that camera? Because it made me give up.
I don't even remember, but I remember getting so frustrated at like trying to aim while also moving around and running out of ink and paint, and there were frustrating things. But overall, I think it was kind of a fun idea to bring back some love for the older Disney that kids don't remember.
Oh, the concept for this game is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Was it this one or the sequel that brought in Mortimer? Or not Mortimer, Oswald.
It was
Oswald's
the sequel.
The first one.
Oswald's in this one.
Okay.
He is, but you could play as him in the second one.
Right, yeah.
So the thing now, when I think about this game, I kind of feel like the hype around this game was off the charts.
Yes, it was.
Well, it's because we saw that concept art.
Well, and
concept art, the marketing, the way the Disney Channel was pushing
serious.
And I actually feel like they went so hard in the marketing and the hyping of it that they Peter Molyneux'd it. Because once the game actually came out, I'm just like, oh, well, it didn't quite live up to all the hype. It's not a bad game, mind you, but they promised the moon and you know.
What? Disney overhyped? No.
But I don't know. But I mean, I'm sure that helped them sell tons and tons of copies with how much they hyped this thing up.
Oh yeah. Well, this is one of those games. I think that you could see it, like you find it secondhand at a game store, and it's like $3 or $4 because they made so many copies of it.
Yeah.
No, like just this whole concept. Like if they leaned into it, they could have done something really cool with it, but they just kind of backed off on it because I think they're just worried about like, oh, this is not kid friendly. It's like, it doesn't have to be. Come on, you're the same people. Like you said, you guys did Black Cauldron, you did Gargoyles. Kids can handle things being a little bit serious. Because like even just the concept of the ink and the ink thinner, there's a lot you can do with that simple idea.
Well, it's got there was a specific episode of Looney Tunes that always stood out to me. Duck-a-Muck. Are y'all familiar with that one?
I don't remember it.
It's the one where Daffy's walking around and the cartoonist is drawing stuff and messing with.
Okay, yes, I do know that one. Yeah.
So, and it's got kind of that energy of you're in a cartoon and you're drawing the cartoon as it's happening, type thing. Like it's also like the animation versus animator, or the animation versus animator video from back in the day.
Oh wow, that takes me back.
But it's just the whole concept of building the plane while you're flying it.
Yeah, well, and then you also have like just the creativity of, all right, there's gears. If we remove gears, suddenly they can't turn, which is going to change what is turning on or off. So it's not just a simple flip a switch, even though it functions as that. It just has some personality to it when you do it that way. That I think that matters.
Yeah.
No, this is a game that just did not quite hit its potential.
Oh yeah, like I said, if they were able to deliver on their promises, this could have been I mean, this could have been
Epic.
Well, epic, but I'm just thinking like like they did make a second, but could you imagine how big of a series this would be if they actually delivered what they promised? Man, something else.
Well, especially if you had leaned into like, what if there were levels that were based around like Disneyland rides that no longer exist and, you know, stuff like that?
Well, they actually do have some of that in here. The Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah, you're right.
Which was something I didn't know. I'm like, that's Tarzan's treehouse to me. Like, and I used to go to Disneyland, so that was kind of cool to learn that from this game.
On that note, I do have another game I want to talk about.
Is it the Swiss Family Robinson game?
No, but it is my first Disney licensed game.
Okay.
Okay, is it the one that had the Huck Finn area in it?
It is, in fact.
Oh my goodness. That game, wow, yeah.
Adventures? So I have not heard of this.
In the Magic Kingdom on the NES. You are just some random kid walking around the Magic Kingdom, finding 5 magical keys by doing special tasks to get to fix something in the park. I don't remember what it was. There were 5 or 6 keys.
I'm not
so
sure
you're actually playing as yourself.
I'm not sure I actually played this game, but I remember reading the Nintendo Power article on it.
Which is why I wanted to play this game, because I read the Nintendo Power article on it. But like it's got like RPG elements. You're walking around the Magic Kingdom talking to random people, and then you go into different areas. And like for Space Mountain, there's like a little roller coaster thing that you got to do. Where like each, and then there's 5 rides you go on, and then there's a bunch of people who ask you trivia questions.
Man, so they're trying to gatekeep fandom here.
Better know the answer.
Well, for me, like, the fact that it had Tom Sawyer just really stood out to me for some reason. Like, that's like the main detail I remember about it.
Like, so it's got all of the classic rides. You know, you've got Space Mountain and the Tom Sawyer's Island, and like it's got like the whole Adventureland and Frontierland, and you're wandering around Disneyland.
Holy crap, for NES graphics, they're actually simulating Space Mountain not that bad.
Well, and this is pretty early, too.
Yeah, look at that. My goodness.
And so basically what's happening is that little thing, it pops up, and you just have to push right. You just have to match it as it comes up, but it's just a very interesting game.
I am actually quite impressed with this segment here. Like, this is what it's like to ride Space Mountain minus the shooting things. Like, they simulate 3D movement. That is impressive.
No, it's pretty cool.
Well, it's funny. I can see how they programmed this. It's actually not that hard, but it does a great job of simulating 3D. That's pretty cool. That's pretty clever, actually. Because technically, this isn't that difficult to do. It's just a simple particle effect emitting from a point, but just how you move that around. That's really neat.
But so what they're doing is they're going through and they're trying to get to section F. So they've gotten to D at this point, and
man, okay. Yeah, I've not heard of this.
I had a feeling that was the case.
Okay, you're like 3 for 3 in the past couple episodes. Like, this is like yeah, I could tell just from the title screen that this was real early NES.
Right. It's got that basic blue, no embellishment. It's just a splash.
Let's see here.
So skip forward a little bit because there's other sections, because so like, oh yeah, this is the racetrack.
Cartopia.
This came out in 1990. Let's see. And then okay.
This is the
Big Thunder Mountain. Yeah, okay. And then Haunted Mansion.
This is the Haunted Mansion. And it's like just a typical platform.
It's Ghosts and Goblins.
Yeah,
and,
it is.
Yeah, and being attacked by zombies. I remember that part of the park as well.
But just you're chucking.
It was a
candles
problem,
and you
frankly.
and you have a limited amount of ammo, which is like kind of terrifying.
That makes it scary. Do you see hitchhiking ghost? You do. Okay, that's a nice touch.
Like
The
it's
mirrors.
this is like they've really done some interesting stuff. But meanwhile, you're not playing as Mickey or Goofy or Donald. You're playing as just a kid going to the Magic Kingdom.
Does this kid have a name?
Put in your own name. What? You put in your own name.
Is there a canon name?
I don't think so.
Tourist.
That'd be awesome.
But it's like, so you're playing all of the, big classic areas of old school Disneyland.
And like when I got the apparitions dancing.
So when I played
nice.
this game, I had never been to Disneyland. And so I didn't get all of the references in this, but it was still just a fun game.
Man.
But it's just this weird little game that nobody else I knew had really even heard of, even though it was featured in Nintendo Power.
That's why I knew it was Nintendo Power. I definitely knew of it.
I did not. Okay.
All right. With this game having trivia, it made me want to bring up another one.
Oh.
Yes.
That's partway board game, actually. I don't know if you guys have ever played the Seen It.
Oh.
Okay, what is happening?
Seen It stuff probably won't work because there's copyrighted material. Unfortunately. But explain it. We'll just look at something else.
Yeah, I wouldn't have ever thought of Seen It as a video game. I mean, it's a game in a video, so
they have video game versions of it.
I was talking and I didn't have my button pressed.
I was wondering. It was like, man, she just suddenly disappeared.
She's upset that it's not working.
So it's a board game, and you go around and you have to answer trivia questions. But the difference is you've got a DVD that will give you your answers and stuff, and so it'll have like, oh, guess the character based on this sound clip, or guess the movie. And I only remember it because my sister was actually playing it with her kids last week or something, and she had posted on social media about it, and I was like, I forgot about that game. That game was fun. And so you win points based on, answering these questions before other people in the room. So kind of random, but remembering that was kind of a fun Disney game.
Yeah.
See,
they had a whole bunch of like board games and stuff like that.
Another favorite we play is the Disney Code Names, which doesn't have a TV segment, but another board game.
Oh, it's a great game.
Mm-hmm. And it's great with kids too. Anytime it's Disney, it's a lot safer to do things with kids.
Yeah, they actually know some of the trivia.
Right.
Yeah, they have a chance of answering and knowing something that maybe the parents don't know.
Like Disney Trivial Pursuit, so
Well, and the thing about this is, yeah, like, because these games are supposed to be family friendly, and so it should be safe for the most part. But even with that, it's interesting with the limitations you would normally have. Let's face it, like Disney is not going to be the most forgiving business partner. They have very specific, what's the term I'm looking for? Where it's like, you can do this with the character. You cannot do that.
Branding.
Branding demands. Yeah. Branding restrictions. And within those bounds, they got some really good stuff.
Among another game that then they made a Disney version of. Have you guys ever played Crossy Road?
What?
So just a phone game. It's basically Frogger.
Oh,
It was like, this
Right.
looks like Frogger, but Minecraft.
Yeah,
It's
so it
Disney
was just
Frogger.
this pixelated Frogger phone app, but then they came out with a Disney version and they updated it quite a bit. I haven't checked in a while if they're still updating, but they had like Frozen made it on there. What are some of the other more recent ones? I can't even remember, like Moana. So they kept updating it for quite a while.
Going for here.
Yeah. It's amazing that we've gone as long as we have without addressing the elephant, or rather the giant clown shoes in the room.
Indeed.
Because I know when most people think of Disney games...
I was kind of saving this for the end, so yes.
Oh, are we ready for the end?
Yeah, we're
or-
definitely
I think
ready.
we're at a good point.
Kingdom
Oh,
Hearts is that's quite the box to unpack.
There's a lot there, but
There, yeah.
Well, it's such like, I remember when I first heard of this game, and I was like, somebody said it's Disney and Final Fantasy come together.
that's
I was
how
like,
I've always
I'm sorry.
described it.
Wait, well, that's what it is. Like it's literally that. I mean, you have Final Fantasy characters in the game.
Well, they don't anymore, but they used to, yeah.
What?
Yeah, 3 didn't have any Final Fantasy characters.
Are you serious? I never
Yeah, I
played
was
3. I
dead
have 3, but
serious.
I haven't played it.
No
What a-
Final Fantasy characters.
Uh,
But yeah, man. No, this
The
game,
little-
when I first saw the description, it's like, yeah, Final Fantasy crossed with Disney. I remember my first initial reaction was, no, get Disney out of my Final Fantasy. I don't want
See,
Disney.
and I'm the opposite. I got this because of the Disney aspect.
my first reaction was just, wait, those are two things I would have never put together.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
it's the
100%.
bizarreness of it.
For me, it was sick fascination. That was my reason for checking it out. But I rented it and I was like, oh, this is fun.
Well, it's just
It's
so
really
bizarre
good.
when you suddenly I'm fighting Cloud in the Hercules
The
arena,
Colosseum.
and I'm just sitting here like, what is this? I don't understand this.
Well, and like there's this whole backstory of how how Squall failed some people and now he doesn't go by Squall anymore. He goes by Leon because it's all kinds of just weird.
Oh, yeah, and the fact that he grew up with, like, a bunch of FF10 people for some reason. And
Oh,
plus
yeah.
Selfie. It's like Waka, Selfie, and Tidus.
Tidus.
It's like,
Random
okay.
brunette Cinderella here.
Well, the other thing, actually,
Yeah.
let's jump back to the very beginning because
Well-
that intro, that intro scene, the music video
Oh
went
yeah.
so much harder than I thought any game that was a combination of Disney and Final Fantasy would ever go.
Yeah, no, this is true. Very
Absolutely
true.
love the music in these games.
I hate
Which
the
I'm really
music in
happy
these
they
games.
came out. They came out with that Melody of Memory, the mom, as I call it, which is basically a rhythm game, but with all the Kingdom Hearts music. I loved that.
No, I hate the music in these games because they are very grabby with the music.
Oh, yes, they're very cautious, especially with anything with, what's her name? Hikaru Utada?
I don't
Utada
know.
Hikaru.
All I know is I've gotten more copyright claims from people playing on the Kingdom Hearts level in Smash.
So if
Oh,
you keep it
man.
if you keep it muted, are you good to do it?
Yeah,
Okay, we
Well,
don't have to play the song,
oh yeah,
But-
I mean I have it muted on my side, so you guys are.
but just
fine.
like the animation was just stunning for one thing.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, just the clouds by themselves.
Yeah. And then like this sort of title screen I
That's
saw
it.
and I was like, oh, this isn't bubbly happy Disney. This is going to be something a little bit more serious.
Well, I mean, they teased that both, Cloud and Squall are going to be there with those squalling clouds there, right?
Yeah, and then of course they picked it Trauma because another character showed up who people wept over.
I don't understand. Final Fantasy games are normally so cheerful.
Oh. Yeah, wait.
Well, and then we've got Haley Joel Osment voicing the main character, which was, this was in his heyday, right after the
Oh
Sixth
yeah.
Sense. And,
Oh yeah.
like, it was a much more angsty thing than I'd ever seen Disney approach. Because, like, I remember just how emotionally this hit me when I was a kid and first played this. I was like, okay, there's like feelings going on here. It was really interesting.
Now, one thing I find interesting, they did it in this first game, but I don't think they did it in the others, is the amount of choices they gave you right at the beginning that affect your character progression.
Right.
Where
choosing like defense versus magic versus the sword.
Well, and then
those were minor.
The questions you're answering for your friends on the island.
Well, yeah, the main one, because like the sword and shield, like that's just kind of your base stats, but once you're higher level, those don't, those wash out. It's like, do you want the afternoon or sunset? Depending on which one, it affects your experience level curve, like how much experience you have to acquire to get to a certain level.
Yeah.
Like if you pick morning, you level up really fast at the beginning of the game, but then level up really, really slow. And to get the max level, it requires the most experience on that curve.
Right.
Whereas if you choose to be in the evening, at sunset, your initial levels are super, super slow. It takes a ton of experience, but then you speed up how fast you level up and has the lowest amount of experience required for max level.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a very interesting mechanic, and but though it is very much a guide, dang it, because you're like morning, afternoon, evening. What are you even talking about?
Yeah, you have no clue what that's about. You're just like, okay, I'll choose one.
Yeah, I can definitely say when I played it, I had no clue what that was. Then again, I don't know.
I don't think I knew until Loonsar told me at one point. I'm like, that's what that means?
Well, and I'm also just because I didn't even beat the first game. I don't know. I just didn't find the gameplay that fun.
Well, see, I grew to really love Sora, and so this is one of my top 2 favorite games: is Kingdom Hearts or Pokemon.
Which Kingdom Hearts?
That one's hard to answer. I really love the first one. It got weird with Organization 13, honestly. It got so confusing. But I also really loved Birth by Sleep. That one I found really fun, and that didn't even have Sora in it.
Which one is Birth by Sleep?
The PSP.
Yeah, the PSP one. That is the one that, like, the fan favorite one that talked about a lot. Like, in our club, I even remember people like, so I picked up this Birth by Sleep on the PSP, and
is that
it's so much better than I expected it to be. It's like one of the best, games ever. Is
that the one that introduces Shion?
No, that's 358/2.
No, Birth by Sleep is...
So, just every time I hear that, I get angry.
The numbers?
358/2. I don't, something about that. Just I don't like this.
So I loved Kingdom Hearts, and I loved Kingdom Hearts 2, although I didn't play Chain of Memories.
That's a rough one. I don't blame you.
Well, but what happened because of that?
Chain of Memories, I just lost interest.
Because of that, I was very confused when I played 2.
Oh,
And then as they went and did more and more side stuff, I just was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not interested anymore.
See, I did that too. I went from 1 to 2, and I was like, I missed something. And I went back to play Chain of Memories, and I was like, okay, well, they fill you in enough to finish 2, because honestly, there wasn't that much more. And the card battle system was very confusing for me.
Yes.
But I did manage to get through that one.
But just after that, the side story got so unwieldy.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, I'm not interested.
So for me, I really enjoyed 1 and actually, 100%ed it and got to the point where I could take down the bonus super boss of Sephiroth really easily. And I had a lot of fun playing fighting the Ice Titan. The second one, I'm trying to think. I was lost, but I think by the time I was playing the second one, was that after we were married that I finally got around to playing the second one? Or
you were playing it in the apartments. You were actually playing it the first time you said "I love you" to me.
Okay. All right. So
how could you not remember this?
Wow.
Dare you?
How dare I? Okay.
Sorry, I just have to lean into the sitcom plot here. So
Okay, so I was right. Though, because I do remember like being lost in the plot because I didn't play Chain of Memories. That I just asked Lizzie because I'm pretty sure when I played the second one that I was already with Lizzie. I guess we weren't married yet, but
Yeah, I used to sit and watch you play it. And
Yeah.
high school is when I was playing through 1 and 2, so I knew my friend group and I were really into the Kingdom Hearts to where we would call each other by the character names. I was Sora, and I had my friend was Roxas and Axel. It was silly.
because like in my case, because I was upset about Disney getting into my Final Fantasy, I actually didn't play it until college because I picked it up, just for when they were on sale for $20, both of them at Best Buy. And finally went through it, but I don't know. It was better than I thought it would be, but it's certainly gotten pretty convoluted since then. That's for sure.
You try to ask someone to explain the story, and it's like I understand the story, but I don't know how to explain it to someone else.
There is an excellent video on YouTube about it, where this guy basically just goes in and explains the whole thing.
I don't think the person who wrote the story could explain it.
That's true.
I don't think it's one person anymore.
It's been interesting watching the Kingdom Hearts as the series go on. Like the beginning, it was very much Disney, as the classic princesses. You had the Final Fantasy characters. Then Kingdom Hearts 2, they're like, all right, here's a new Organization 13. We're getting more original Kingdom Hearts characters, less of the IPs. Kingdom Hearts 3, no Final Fantasy characters, and it was 1-to-1 Disney to Pixar. So each of the worlds, each time you got to choose where you went, you had a choice between Disney or Pixar. And then once you've done both of those, it goes to the next. Okay, choose Disney or Pixar. You could choose which one to go to first, but you had to do both worlds before you got the next set. So it'd be like, okay, do you want to go to Tangled or do you want to go to Toy Story? Do you want to go to Frozen or do you want to go to Monsters, Inc.? So that was kind of where Kingdom Hearts 3 went, and the few trailers I've seen for Kingdom Hearts 4, the little bit of information, it looks like they're possibly dropping all the IPs and it's just going to be Kingdom Hearts characters, and they've really they've upped the animation to be more like modern Final Fantasies, and I don't like that. I miss the cartoony Sora.
Yeah. Wow. If it's going to be, when you say just Kingdom Hearts, like not even Final Fantasy, not Disney, just Kingdom Hearts.
The little bit I've seen, which there's very little out there right now, but it seems to be focusing more on like the main Organization 13, like Xemnas and Xehanort, when they were younger, potentially.
Okay, man.
So we're actually seeing Ansem the Wise and that whole. Are you talking about that whole era?
I think so, but like I said, there's been very little.
This must be how my mom feels like whenever I talk about comic books.
Probably.
Like, huh?
When one thing I did like about 2, though, its storyline is the having Radiant Gardens as the true identity of Hollow Bastion, where it's like, it's the Final Fantasy land, yay! So there was a level that like this is Final Fantasy land, which there is no Final Fantasy land in Final Fantasy, but if there was one, it'd be Radiant Gardens. And I did like that touch. And
well, it's where Squall and Aerith and Yuffie and all of those other characters came from.
Yeah, and so the fact that they got rid of it in 3 just makes me sad. That, and also we never saw. They stuck to the PlayStation Final Fantasy, which kind of does also make me sad. You didn't get to see any of the
Cecil.
Super Nintendo. No Cecil, no Rosa, no Rydia, no Terra. No Cyan. To me, that was kind of a big letdown, is that it stuck with PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's probably just because they already had like 3D models to base off of, so they knew like people will recognize these characters. And
I have a feeling it's because Sony was making the game.
Yeah, probably that too.
Or it was being made. Sony wasn't making the game. It was on Sony's.
It was a
PlayStation exclusive. Yeah.
Thank you. I couldn't come up with the word exclusive for some reason. I'm dumb.
But still, the Super Nintendo Final Fantasy characters are my favorites, and so it's just sad.
See, and for me, I'm like I said, I got in it for Disney, so it was good that the few Final Fantasy characters they had, I'm like, oh, I recognize that one, and there were a few that I didn't know and kind of got to know a little bit about through playing these games.
Well, let's be honest, they were going for the crowd, the newer crowd of Final Fantasy fans, not the older ones with this game. Now, one thing I did find interesting is I tried playing Dawn of Mana, and I realized that was the prototype that became Kingdom Hearts, like the gameplay style.
Huh.
And I actually think Kingdom Hearts is the reason why the Mana series disappeared for as long as it did. Because the gameplay of Dawn of Mana totally became the Kingdom Hearts gameplay.
Well, and it's also led into a little bit of like FF7 Remake. It follows a similar, because they're trying to keep RPG and action, but still more RPG than your typical action RPG.
That's true. I thought the hybrid system, command system, action system of FF7 Remake was really cool, but you're right. They did kind of do that in Kingdom Hearts, just without the pausing mid-command.
Well, and it's not even pausing.
Menu.
It's slowdown.
Yes, but I thought the slowdown was really cool.
I love it.
In 7 Remake. Yeah.
One of my favorites in this too is, I guess it's in the second game, but the different characters, the change in Sora's style based on
here's
what
the level
world
for
you're
you.
in. Yeah, here's the escape.
We already
Here's
did
the
this.
Escape.
But in the second game, when you get to be a lion, I thought that was so fun. But you also have the mermaid version, the Nightmare Before Christmas version.
The Nightmare Before Christmas was
They're
amazing.
so good.
I loved the way that they, changed the characters for the Nightmare Before Christmas.
They really made them a part of the different movies that you were in, and I loved that.
The only one that it fell a bit flat for me, unfortunately, and I was super excited for it before it happened, was Pirates of the Caribbean.
That one, I remember when they announced, I was like, that's going to be so weird because everything else has been animated. How are they going to have live action?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is
weirded me out too.
The other thing is, I don't think they had likeness rights for Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley for this game specifically. And so it never really felt like Pirates of the Caribbean because everything was just a little bit off so that they could get away with saying, oh, this isn't him. And I'm like, but Jack Sparrow is Johnny Depp. And I want him to look like Johnny Depp.
To be fair, Johnny Depp doesn't look like Johnny Depp, but
Along the lines of rights, though, you'll notice the Tarzan worlds never come back because there was something with the rights, like they lost the rights after the first game. To where you have Tarzan in the first game, but then it doesn't ever come back, which is too bad because that one, Tarzan's a good movie. I love the music.
Now, the one thing I do have to just say was stellar across these games was the voice acting because they got so many of the original voice actors, and if they didn't get the original voice actors, they got their secondary or primary, like current voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's not just, it's not just I'm trying to think of the character, just like basically because what they did is they rated the cast for House of Mouse, which was a series on the Disney Channel that would bring in all of these characters, and they had their main voice actors actually come in and voice these characters in this game, which really elevated the game in my opinion.
Yeah, because there are some of those, like, even sequel movies sometimes, and you're like, that's not the same voice, but they did really well for this one.
For example, Aladdin, I think they got Scott Winger, who was the original voice of Aladdin.
This is the one where I found out that James Woods, whenever they ask him to play Hades, he always says yes. It doesn't matter how minor it is. He just loves playing he just loves playing Hades because it's just this insane character.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the IMDb for this game because it's really impressive. I think for they got what's her name for Ariel.
Oh yeah, what's her name?
Jodie Bennett.
Bennett?
Yeah. And it's just like, but it was like a lot of them. It wasn't just, oh, we'll get one or two voices. It was like we're getting everybody.
No, Nomura Tetsuya and the whole crew, they really pulled out the stops when they were making this game. And it paid off for them, really. I mean,
it's become one of the huge franchise.
A huge, convoluted franchise.
Oh gosh, IMDb has given me all the Japanese actors for.
That's always the hard part with video games.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will admit the hearing the Japanese voice acting for this game is actually hilarious.
I forgot Lance Bass was the voice of Sephiroth.
That's right, he was the voice of Sephiroth, and but like just hearing Ohayo gozaimasu being said by Donald Duck is just it's hilarious. I couldn't do it. I'm not even going to attempt.
I keep forgetting. Billy Zane was Ansem. David Boreanaz was Squall. Mandy Moore was Aerith originally. I know they
That's
changed
right.
the second game.
That's
Well,
right.
yeah, it would have to be
Jeez, these are
Rapunzel
some
in the third.
names.
No, they like big names.
Big names.
Let's see. Sean Astin was Hercules.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Jodie Benson was Ariel. Robbie Benson was the Beast. Different Bensons. Dan Castellaneta was Genie because it wasn't. He was the replacement Genie after.
Well, he was the one in the cartoon series.
Yeah, like
okay.
Gilbert Gottfried was Iago. Jim Cummings was Winnie the
So
Pooh and
much.
Tigger. And,
Everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's pulling a lot of duty in this game.
Yeah. Chris Sarandon was Jack Skellington because he was Jack Skellington.
They really wanted to make it authentic.
Like that's the thing that amazes me about this game is they got all of these voice actors.
Well, and that's the thing that's impressive about this game series in general is this is such a goofy concept.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, again, when I first heard of this, I was just like, "Wait, what now?"
it's like
Especially because
I like crossovers, but that's just a weird one.
the Venn diagram of Disney fans and Final Fantasy fans at the time,
Scarce.
there wasn't a whole lot of crossover.
No, there really wasn't. I mean, like, Final Fantasy fans, had enjoyed Disney movies, but they weren't exactly fandom. You know
Well,
what I
and
mean?
even if you're a fan of both of them, you wouldn't sit there and be like, yeah, you know what? Cloud definitely deserves and should be in the same location as Mickey Mouse. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's like, even if you like both, it's not like chocolate and peanut butter. It's like chocolate and salmon. It's two
What?
very different things.
But you have to actually make it taste good at the end.
Yeah, I'd say it's like chocolate and salt.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Okay, but that actually tastes good.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
so is Kingdom Hearts.
But it's not what most people think when they're like, "Oh, I need salty or chocolate."
Fair enough.
But then you put them together, like, "Oh, that works."
Well, the thing that I like, as someone who like completely fell off by the first game, but even I can sit here and be like, I think its strength, even though because this is a very goofy concept, I think its strength is the fact that it does take itself so seriously. Like it doesn't, because if this game was embarrassed by its concept, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, it would have just been a laughing stock and wouldn't have made it past one.
Yeah, and
That's
just
a good point. I didn't think about it, but you're right. The fact that it does take itself so seriously is probably what led to a lot of its success. It's like, if you're going to have a goofy concept, you have to take it... It's weird. There's two ways. You could either take a very serious concept and not take it too seriously, or take a very goofy concept and just take it way over seriously.
Lean into the skid.
It's interesting how that works, but it does. Just like chocolate and salt. It's
well,
it's
I think the
really
key
weird.
Uh-huh.
is sincerity.
Okay, yeah.
And that you felt that from the minute you turned on the game.
Well, and what was the thing we were complaining about is, these games, licensed games can be such a cash grab.
Mm-hmm.
And on all the ones that we were discussing the positives of, they weren't cash grabs. They tried, like, it was a sincere effort to make a good game that took what was good from whatever the source material was and try and adapt it faithfully, but also do enough with it to where that didn't completely hamstring the game itself.
Yeah. Like, I want to know what the brainstorming session where this concept
I want to know how this even came up.
Actually, it was an elevator pitch. Somebody caught the Square Enix in the elevator, I think, and was like, "Hey, let's do a combo." And they were like,
"Was it Disney who pitched it, or was it like Tetsuya Nomura? Like, how did that come about?"
I think it was Nomura. I can't even say his name. Sorry, but I think that I don't remember. But I remember hearing it was just like an elevator pitch that then became a meeting.
Okay, now that I think about it, you did say it's because they had the PlayStation ones because of the fact that it was a Sony exclusive. But now that I think about it, this is Tetsuya Nomura's brainchild. And what Final Fantasies was he responsible for? The PlayStation ones. So that's probably more a Tetsuya thing than anything else. So that makes sense.
No, it's definitely the culmination of just some weird thoughts, but
I wonder how that came to Tetsuya's mind. Like,
why was the thought there in the first place?
Like, was he like, working on some Final Fantasy game at work, and he's just so focused on it, and he comes home and his wife and kids have like a Disney movie on, and he's like, passes out on the couch, and his kids are just watching a ton of Disney while he's thinking about his Final Fantasy projects at work, and then he wakes up, and then he just has like mixed them too, as he's been subconsciously listening to his kids watching Disney or something. I don't know. Something crazy like that birthed this insane concept.
Oh, hey, it's where I dropped off the game. Anyway,
getting eaten by Monstro.
Yeah, it's kind of where I just stopped playing. Just like, I'm not into this. But that's fine. I don't have to be. All right, we've been going for almost 2 hours, so it's time for us to wrap up. But final thoughts, these games can be awesome. Just be sincere about it. Don't make it a soulless cash grab.
Yep.
All right. Lizzie, why don't you start us off?
I will promote my stream, twitch.tv/Lizzie Petrichor. I do shiny hunting Pokemon. In February, I've been doing 4 and Feb Fridays, but I've actually managed to beat all 4 games already. So this Friday, I'm probably just going to be cleaning up some side quests in Tears of the Kingdom. But most of the time, it's Pokemon shiny hunting.
All right, perfect. Bagginses.
I'll promote the Sandersonian Institute of Cosmere Studies. If you like Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere, we talked about his books over there. So you should check it out. We record every other Monday night, and then episodes are posted on Wednesdays. You can find us on pretty much, like, we have it on YouTube or anywhere you can find podcasts. One heads up, we did recently announce that we're going to start winding down and sort of moving into a more maintenance mode where we're doing only a few episodes, like much less frequently. So if you want to catch us live, definitely check in on those sooner rather than later, just because we won't be doing as many after a little while.
Yep. Lunarsar?
I think I'll promote the iFixit store, because doesn't just have stuff to fix old retro consoles, but it actually has instruction guides. Someone who just recently had to replace batteries in a Switch, and boy, they did not design that thing to have the battery replaced easily. So it's nice to have online guides. So iFixit, it's a good place to go when you want to fix one of your consoles or something other electronic.
Okay. And then you can find me twitch.tv/splicestream at just anytime you want to check me out. I appreciate it.
Well, guys, I think we overleveled.
Woo, boy.